My brothers and sisters, sons of the soil, daughters of revolution, today, I do not speak to you as a politician. I speak to you as a soldier, as a son of this land, as a man who has walked barefoot on the red earth of Burkina Faso, who has seen mothers cry at empty pots and fathers bury their dignity under foreign flags. For decades, our land, blessed by the Creator with gold beneath its surface, has enriched the powerful and starved the rightful owners. Foreign companies arrived with suits, with contracts we never wrote, with laws we never approved. They spoke of development, but they left us only extraction. Our rivers were poisoned, our communities divided, and our miners, our brothers, worked as slaves in their own land, digging for gold that disappeared across borders they cannot cross. But today, we break the chains. Today, that era ends. The gold of Burkina Faso will no longer fuel empires. It will no longer buy yachts in Monaco or fund wars in lands we do not know. From this day forward, our resources will be harnessed for our people, for our classrooms, for our clinics, for our future. We are nationalizing our minds not out of hate, but out of duty. Because sovereignty is not just a word in our Constitution. It is a promise to every child in this nation who still drinks dirty water and dreams of freedom. Our sovereignty is not for sale, not in dollars, not in euros, not even in diamonds or gold. It is sacred. Some in the West will say we have turned our backs. They will say we are anti-democratic, anti-liberal, anti-progress. But let me be clear, we have not turned our backs on the West. We have turned our faces toward ourselves, toward justice, toward pride, toward that spirit of Thomas Sankara, who told us, "He who feeds you controls you." And I say, no more shall we be fed by those who poison our spirits. We will feed ourselves. We will work with those who treat us as equals. And today, Russia has treated us with respect, not with colonial arrogance. They did not come with bombs or sermons. They came with open hands. They came as partners, not as masters. And that is why we will cooperate, not blindly, but strategically, in defense, in infrastructure, in energy and technology. Our relationship is not a surrender. It is a choice to diversify, to dignify, to declare that Burkina Faso will not be a puppet state, not for East, not for West. Let the world hear this from Ouagadougou to Washington, from Moscow to Paris, and we are not afraid. We are not alone. We are not for sale. Africa is not a prize. It is a power. And Burkina Faso stands at its front line, not with empty hands, but with full hearts. We will build a nation where the gold in our ground builds homes, not Swiss bank accounts, where every child speaks of freedom not just in history books, but in the streets, where alliances are forged in dignity, not dependency, where we are no longer asked to beg, but invited to lead. So I say to you, the youth, rise. To the farmers, produce. To the teachers, teach with fire. To the soldiers, defend not a regime, but a revolution. Victory to the people, honor to the martyrs, and glory to sovereign Africa.
Close your eyes and imagine this. A nation, small in size but rich in soul. Its soil bursting with gold. Its youth filled with fire, and its people, tired of being exploited. For decades, the world dug into its earth, filled their pockets, and left its children barefoot. But now that nation says, no more. This is not just any nation. This is Burkina Faso. And at the heart of this defiance stands a man. Not in a suit, but in a uniform. A man who rose from the ranks of the army to become the face of a revolution. His name, Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso is no longer bowing to the powers it once feared. The gold, once exported to fund foreign wealth, is now being taken back by the state. This is not a policy. This is a statement. Our resources are not for sale. And while Western governments look on with silence or subtle warnings, Traoré is forging new ground, deepening ties with Russia, embracing new alliances, and rewriting the map of African power. But as history has shown us, bold moves come with bold consequences. So we ask, is Traoré leading his people to true independence or into a geopolitical storm? This is the story of resistance, of revolution, of a land reclaiming its worth, and a leader who refuses to kneel. Welcome to a new chapter in Africa's awakening. In early 2023, the world's media turned its eyes toward Ouagadougou. Not because of a conflict, not because of a scandal, but because of a declaration that shook boardrooms in Paris, Toronto, and London. Captain Ibrahim Traoré announced the partial nationalization of all gold mining operations in Burkina Faso. A new law was passed. From that day forward, the Burkinabe state would claim a minimum 10% mandatory stake in every gold mining project within its borders, with the option to increase it up to 30%. This was not charity. This was justice. Why gold? Because beneath the soil of Burkina Faso lies one of the richest sources of gold in all of West Africa. For decades, this wealth has been extracted by Western and Canadian companies, shipped abroad, sold for billions, and yet villages near those same mines still lack clean drinking water. Children study under trees. Hospitals run out of medicine. Traoré calls this move resource liberation. It's not just economics, it's ideological. It's about restoring dignity, reclaiming what belongs to the people. For too long, our wealth has fattened foreign empires. Now it will build schools. It will pave roads. It will fund hospitals, pay teachers, and feed families. This is not just a shift in policy. It is a shift in power away from multinational corporations and toward the people who walk the land, breathe its dust, and die in its mines. Our resources must serve our people, not fund foreign empires. Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Some call it risky, others call it reckless. But to the citizens of Burkina Faso, those who've waited generations to benefit from their own land, it feels like redemption. This move, the reclaiming of gold, the fight for economic freedom, did not happen in isolation. In the background, a deeper, quieter shift was taking place. As Captain Ibrahim Traoré broke ties with the West, he reached out toward a different pole of power, Russia. The message was clear. Burkina Faso will no longer answer to Paris. The French military presence, once seen as protection, was now viewed as occupation. And so, French troops were told to leave. French ambassadors were shown the door. And in their place, new relationships began to form. Russia stepped in, not with speeches about democracy, but with weapons, instructors, and unconditional support. They offered satellite intelligence, counter-terror training, and direct security cooperation. In return, they asked for no regime change, no loans, and no lectures. Across Burkina Faso, Russian flags began to appear in the streets, not just as symbols of alliance, but as acts of defiance. In Ouagadougou and Bobo-Dioulasso, you can see them waved next to the flag of Burkina Faso, a visual declaration that a new era has begun. In Russian state media, Traoré is no longer portrayed as a rebel or soldier. He is described as a liberator, as a modern-day Sankara, as a symbol of African nations finally rejecting neo-colonialism. And this new direction isn't just bilateral, it's regional. In 2024, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger came together to form the Alliance of Sahel States, a military and economic bloc built on three shared principles: sovereignty, security, and solidarity. This alliance is not just rejecting Western military bases, it's creating its own joint defense structure, its own economic framework, and its own Pan-African model. And at the center of it stands Traoré, guiding Burkina Faso through one of the most radical realignments in its post-independence history. As Burkina Faso shifts its alliances and reclaims its resources, the world is not sitting idle. In the quiet corridors of power, in Washington, Paris, Brussels, officials are watching, anxious, alert. French mining companies long entrenched in West Africa are sounding the alarm. Their investments, once protected by political ties and military cooperation, are now under threat. Billions in future revenue slipping away. The U.S. State Department has issued formal statements, couched in diplomatic language, urging respect for international business agreements. Behind those words lies a deeper warning. If you disrupt the system may retaliate. But in Ouagadougou, Kaya, Bobo-Dioulasso, the people have a different view. They cheer in the streets. They paint murals of Traoré next to Thomas Sankara. They see not a threat, but a resurrection, a return to self-determination. A leader finally saying what others only whispered. Africa does not need permission to be free. Traoré is not seen as a politician. He is seen as a protector of land, of pride, of memory. To many across West Africa, he is the rebirth of the Sankara spirit, not in words, but in action. But not everyone agrees. Critics, even within Africa, warn of new dangers. They ask, is Burkina Faso simply trading one master for another? Could Russian support come with invisible strings? Could Western sanctions, funding cuts, or diplomatic isolation eventually choke the very progress Traoré is trying to build? This is the new global chessboard, and Traoré, a 36-year-old former artillery commander, has boldly stepped onto it. He is moving fast, defying convention, and drawing lines that others feared to draw. And now, the world watches, not just to see what Burkina Faso will become, but to see if others will follow. Ibrahim Traoré has lit a fire in Africa's heart, declaring that Burkina Faso will no longer be mined for others' profit. But now the question is, can his revolution survive global pressure? What do you think? Is nationalizing gold and aligning with Russia the right path for Burkina Faso? Or is this too risky in a fragile region? Like this video, subscribe for more updates on Traoré's vision, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. The revolution is being watched.